It's tight, isn't it? But Liverpool remain favourites to win the Premier League after their defeat today. City trimmed to 6-5. Spurs very much on the outside, looking at 18-1, despite the fact they were only just 6 points behind. It was interesting what Mark was saying earlier on in the show, boys, the fact that City have been there, done that, and you saw that today, and that makes the difference. Will we see more of that now until the end of the season?
It's hard to tell. It really is. I don't... Even though they lost tonight, I don't see Liverpool dropping too many points. I just don't. They're a well-oiled outfit. Even when they're not playing at the best, are still going to cause teams a lot of problems, and generally defensively very solid, particularly if they can get Gomez back. And let's be fair, love Renaud.
Yeah.
That will help. So I don't see Liverpool dropping many points. It might come down to injuries and suspensions to the squad, because I just don't. I think City might have to go all the way through unbeaten,
right?
Potentially to get that title.
Do you agree, Paul? Who's your favourites at the moment?
Well, I agree with the betting. Look, 4 points clear. It doesn't matter who they're going to play. It doesn't. You know, you can look at the look at the fixtures and say, well, you know, maybe they'll drop points here or there. It doesn't matter, because the way that Klopp's got this club, you know, moving in the right direction, and the way I'd say a little bit more insight into what Company said tonight about that, playing with the gut tonight, playing with that passion. You know, they must have had a word in training or in the dressing room before they came out, because they knew what it meant tonight. And I feel that if they can carry that through every game, which is very, very difficult, I think they can obviously keep challenging. But Liverpool Klopp seems to get the balance right all the time. As Craig says, if Gomez comes back, they'll most definitely improve the defence. And the midfield area, he seems to be rotating for fun, and he never really gets it wrong. And going forward with the fantastic 13 million quid signing of Shaqiri, I mean, he's been a revelation for me. I thought it was a ridiculous signing, but he's fitted in perfectly. So I think with the balance what Liverpool have, and this passion to win it, coupled with the fans, yeah, they are favourites, but it's not going to be easy.
Palace at home and Leicester away for City. Those defeats, we didn't see those coming. Right? We just did not see those coming. Now, have Liverpool got 2 or 3 of those in them? I mean, when it gets to the stage of the season where you're fighting a team in the bottom 4 or 5, and that team could drop into the relegation zone, and you're away from home, and it's just an absolute fist fight, right? And everything else goes out the window. That's when we're going to find out, because at this moment in time, there's a leeway for certain teams, but when it gets to like half a dozen, 8, 9 games left in the season, and teams down the bottom, and I've been down there, are scrapping for their lives, you'll do anything. You'll do anything to try and get a point. And it's whether Liverpool can handle that if they're still top at that point. I mean, it's like, you know, he seems quite chilled about it, Jurgen Klopp. I mean, that's the sort of attitude in what he was given after the game, when he realised that, you know, it was a big game for them, but it didn't go their way.
Similar to like when you were at Celtic, yeah? Rangers had gone on 9 in a row, and you stopped them doing 10.
Yes.
Everywhere you went, people must have just said, you got to stop. And surely that's going to be similar with Liverpool now, isn't it?
From the first day, from before the season started till the last game of the season where we won it, on the last day, and could have still lost it, no matter, was it a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, whatever day it was, people were reminding you. And telling you, you've got to make this happen.
And that's going to be the same in Liverpool.
I'm not sure how desperate that is for Liverpool to an extent, but of course there is an air of it, because they've seen over the last umpteen years United and Arsenal and now City and Chelsea, they've all had a piece of the pie domestically, and they haven't. Now, what I would say, and it's the old one about would you take this position at the start of the season? Absolutely, they've moved themselves forward. They've got a goalkeeper they can trust. They've got a centre-half they can organise. They've got a bench that they can bring into action and rotate. They can change the shape of the team. And they've still got a front line that did stutter a bit at the start of the season, but it's hit its straps in recent weeks, and particularly Mo Salah. So I don't think there's any major concerns at Anfield at this moment in time.
The thing with the squad, it's all right, Klopp, you know, in his press conferences, saying whatever he says in training, whatever. It's the players that have got to do that job. And the biggest factor, and I speak to Stevie about it all the time, about when Liverpool in the old days kept repeating. Why did they do it? Because they had the quality in the dressing room and the strength of character in the dressing room. So, to Mark's point, there's two lads who's won the Premiership, Milner and Sturridge. Sturridge is not going to feature very much, obviously. Milner is coming to the end, but he's still a stalwart in that side. Do they have that collective spirit? Do they have the guts for this incredible challenge that's in front of them? Because you've got Easter coming up, you've got all those games, you know, all the managers start moaning, oh, we've got the FA Cup coming up, well, we've got Champions League, all these games are going to come so thick and so fast. You need to be so strong within that dressing room, it's terrifying.
Could Champions League be an issue? Like Mark made a good point, and obviously Bayern Munich coming up for Liverpool. We know how intense that period is.
Yep. Can't, but it's injuries. It's injuries. We know Van Dijk can't play in the first leg, so he's going to get a rest. He's suspended. But it's going to come down. It's going to come down to injuries. And Mark talked on it. You know, the full-back position. If they start losing anybody, they've not got anybody they can trust that can come in. In fact, it might come to a stage where he'll put James Milner back to one of the full-back positions, such as the distrust of the likes of Alberto Moreno. But I tell you what, Liverpool are the favourites and everything's great in their camp, not a problem. But if I was City, I wouldn't be too concerned to be chasing.
Right.
Particularly the way, depending on what way the fixtures come out. If you're playing on a Saturday and Liverpool playing on a Sunday, you can really go and crank the pressure on with some wins. And sit back and try and see how they'll react. Particularly now they've only got that 4-point gap to try and chase down. And depending on, as I say, how the fixtures come out, from a player's perspective, you go out there on a Saturday, if your game's on a Saturday, you get the 3 points and you say, right, over to you. You're playing 24 hours later, it's in your head. That's going to be the big thing to deal with for